Hey, I'm Raymond. You're watching RPAD TV 3000. I hope people in America had an excellent Thanksgiving and you're having an excellent week. Today's episode is all about Your Highness and why I think it's an underrated, underappreciated, criminally underappreciated movie. And I have a friend who agrees. This is MacLean Marshall, longtime video game PR person and current god of Turtle Beach. That's the new title I gave you.
Wait, I'm gonna make a t-shirt for that.
God of the beach. I love it. Let's go with that. What's up, Mac? How are you today?
I'm good. Been busy. Just we've been revealing new products and getting things ready for the holidays as usual. So this is that busy time of the year when you work in gaming accessories and games.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, the holiday season is tremendous for your business. Do you want to talk about the new product a little bit, or
real quick? I think the coolest thing is that Turtle Beach, like, we finally announced our first ever wireless controller for Xbox, and it also works with PC and smart TVs and other things. And it's super premium and pricey. It's like a $200 controller, but it has everything, including like Hall effect, Hall effect sticks, and even a like little 1.5-inch display screen built into the controller where you can actually see and adjust all your settings right there on the fly, like, and see it like in your hands. So super cool, and just comes out December 15th.
Excellent. If you want to learn more about that product and all these great Turtle Beach products, the Turtle Beach link is in the YouTube and Facebook description. Click on it and you will be inundated with fantastic hardware. But today's show, as I mentioned, is all about Your Highness. This is a 2011 comedy satire stoner movie. I mean, it spans so many genres. Starring Danny McBride, James Franco, and Natalie Portman.
Of all people.
Mac, why do you think Your Highness is so much fun in a nutshell?
You know why? I think for those that have watched it, right? Even when you and I were talking about this a couple weeks ago, I think you were like shocked, like pleasantly surprised that like you're like, oh, you've seen it. I'm like, dude, not only have I seen it, like I own it on Blu-ray. Like, it's sad. Like, it was in the when I got through and weeded through all my like movies that I own on discs still, I was like, I'm gonna keep that one. So it's still funny. And so I just think it was so unexpected to me. Like, you kind of knew what you wanted to get out of that movie when you went in to see it, but when you actually see the movie from top to bottom, it's just like, it's so bad in every way that it's great, right?
Yes,
it leans into the parts where it's bad even harder, which makes it even more funny. And I think that's why, to me, it's just such a kind of a funny movie that I can just put in and just watch in the background whenever.
Yeah, and I noticed you have the unrated version as well.
I did, yeah. I got I think when I bought it, here we are. I bought I just watched the unrated version yesterday and today just to get caught up for our conversation.
Look at that. Prep. I love it.
Homework, right?
Yes. And I don't mean prep for colonoscopies, boy.
Yep.
That was a terrible
different kind of prep.
Yeah, I think unexpected is a great word for it, because I knew what the vibe of the movie would be, because I like Danny McBride a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious. But I was not expecting so much and to go that far in some of the directions they went in.
What was the other movie with, like, again, James Franco, Seth Rogen, Danny McBride? It was another stoner adventure movie. I forget what it's called though. But Danny McBride played the character Red.
Oh, Pineapple Express.
Pineapple Express. Yeah. Thank you. All right, that movie's great too.
Yes,
and of all the different roles, I just think like that Danny McBride's had, he won me over as Red in that movie. I mean, he just such like a lovable, hateable guy at the same time.
Yeah, that's what's so unique about him. And I kind of like the exaggerated version of himself that he played, and This Is the End.
Oh, totally. Yep. So, yeah, you can now go into like the repertoire of Danny McBride movies, but yeah.
Oh, I mean, he's done so much. Like Eastbound and Down is one of my favorite series.
Yeah,
and yeah, he does this thing where he seems like crass and stupid, but then he has this other side of his character, and most of the characters he plays that's lovable, like you said, and you makes you want to root for him, which is weird.
I also think that like he surrounds himself with like cool and interesting other like supporting characters too, because if you go back to like you just said, whether it was God, what's the show you just said?
Eastbound and Down.
Eastbound and Down, right? Like the couple of supporting characters in that show, and then in even in this one with what's his name, the guy who plays his sidekick, Rasmus Hardiker, who plays
Yes.
God, what's his name? I wrote down
Courtney.
Yeah. Like he just surrounds himself with those side characters that just kind of like amplify what he does and make it even better. So I think again, that's why Dan McBride works for me.
Absolutely. Now, this movie was critically panned and panned by moviegoers
and rightfully
as well.
So, right? It's not a good movie,
right? But I wasn't expecting
it's a good movie. It's just a great movie to watch.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. But I mean, look at these scores: 27 critic score and a 34 audience score.
Sure.
Is it that bad? I don't.
It's not that bad.
Yeah.
So I think it's like, again, it's in it. Like, I judge a movie on if I'm entertained or not.
Yeah.
And I think, like, without being too critical, like, that's an entertaining movie for me. And it doesn't have to be for everybody, but for me, like, it works. And I'm just happy to watch it or have it on in the background. It's like another one of those evergreen ones for me.
Yes. Oh, first comment from Carlos, who says he's good in Righteous Gemstones too. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that's one that I haven't started watching yet too hard.
Oh, you'll dig it.
And I've heard that before as well. Like, I need to get into that.
You'll definitely like that. Now, this cast, let's talk about the leads. It's kind of nuts, especially looking through the retroscope of this cast in this movie. Let's take a picture here.
Oh, yeah.
As we said, we have Natalie Portman, Danny McBride, James Franco, Zoe Deschanel, who's I don't really count as the lead.
For the horn in the background.
Oh, no worries.
Oh, it went off. Okay, so somebody's car alarm was going off.
So we talked a bit about Danny McBride. Let's talk about his performance specifically in this movie. What did he do for you that worked?
He was so sensitive about every little thing, and just he held that like jealous brother tone across like the entire movie up until the end, when they're meant to be like, reunited as brothers and equal, but like just that whole jealous, like, just you're gonna be the king and nobody cares about me, and like that whole attitude throughout the film just kind of bleeds through him, and then so it helps him kind of try and like when he's overcompensating for like literally everything.
And the way he expresses it too, when he tells Thaddeus, is like, everyone in the kingdom wants to suck your dick. Nobody wants to suck
my dick. Like, yeah, it's just, and that it's so funny, like, because you take those mentalities of like clearly not the first person ever like have that line of thought, but then they frame it up that way, put it in a movie like that. That's where this thing kind of just has its own space.
And I kind of love how he uses an English accent like 70% of the time.
Yeah, when it suits him.
And then he'll have him decide like, fucking idiot.
Yeah. And like, it's funny too, like, just to switch gears a little bit, is like James Franco does the same thing. He's like got an accent, but not, and then he definitely cannot sing in any capacity. And they have that whole musical interlude towards the beginning, and they lean so heavily into the fact that he sucks at singing. It's fantastic.
Franco is great too. And this is pre-allegations, younger James Franco. He's quite dashing. Let's look at him here. He's got great hair. He looks heroic. He has that boyish smile going on. And I think he's great as the older brother that does everything right. Yeah. But doesn't realize it.
Yeah, he was funny. I think, again, going back to what you said, like all the stuff nobody really wants to talk about, but he's always been kind of like funny and entertaining in that way to watch. And that because again goes back to like, the only person missing in this cast to me was like a Seth Rogen appearance.
Of course. I mean, they come in sets, don't they? Ever since like Freaks and Geeks, you expect at least 3 of them to pop up in all their movies. Yep. And Franco is great because he's done dramatic roles and he's done comedic roles very well, whereas Danny McBride is, mostly known purely for comedy. So I like that Franco has that balance. And on the other end of the spectrum, you have Natalie Portman, who this was not the kind of movie I was expecting her
not at all. I gotta be honest, like that strikes up like a big question, like how exactly, and I'm sure like if you you know, again, it's got to be somewhere, right? But like, how did she end up in this movie? Like, that's such a strange destination for her journey, right?
Yeah, like, did she decide, hey, I want to try out like a stoner idiot movie, see what
Yeah,
that's like,
it's very interesting.
and then
But again, it fits because she's so out of place along with everything else that happens in the movie that like it all
her,
just kind of
yeah,
works together to fall downhill and gain momentum, right?
yeah. And did you like her character? I think she did a great job being the more competent one and being
I thought it
truly
was
heroic.
funny. I thought she did well. I thought like again, she's such like a hard like a 90-degree turn compared to like the rest of this. And so is Zoe Deschanel, by the way. But like it feels like the two of them just somehow ended up in this movie and just went with it and had a good time. And like because I feel like you've seen other movies, and I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head, but like if you know they're not happy or having a good time, you're going to be able to tell, and you could just see that like
Yeah,
kind of no matter what, everybody in this was just like, we know what this is, let's just go and have fun.
and her character had such anger, but she made it hilarious. Like, I
Yeah.
want to tear off his skin and wear it as a cape while I dance around his corpse. I'm like,
Yep.
oh, okay, that's not a line I
By
ever.
the way, I'm looking at this list of cast members here too, and there's I forget his name, and Damien, the red haired guy.
Oh, right, right. He plays
He made it really
Bormont.
big and around. Yeah, he made it really big coming out of this as well.
Yeah, he's done. This was this was his gateway to bigger roles,
Yes, this was
apparently.
the platform.
And this got Natalie Portman Black Swan. I don't know. Probably not.
No, but she again, it is weird to see her in this movie, but it was also like your point was just fun to see her in this movie too, because she does pull off kind of everything that character does need to deliver, right?
Yes.
To move the story forward too, and she does it in a fun way, and
Yeah.
that works well off of, like I said, Danny McBride's just like overzealous, just like trying to one up everything.
We have a theory on how Natalie Portman came to this movie. Maybe a friend forged her signature like they did to Keanu that one time. What?
Oh, I don't know that story.
Yeah, I don't know that story, Carlos. What movie is that? Is it The Matrix? No, I don't know. But I don't know. I think maybe her agent talked her into it, or maybe she really just did want to be like, people keep calling me Padme. I want to do something different. Damn it!
I need to break out of this character.
Yeah. Now, of course, these are our heroes, and a good adventure needs a good villain. What did you think of Justin Theroux as Lazar, the evil wizard?
I absolutely, again, after 2 days of rewatching this, I love Justin Theroux as Lazar, and I think honestly, and it's the stupidest thing, and I went back and I freeze framed it on the same scene a couple times, but the face he makes when he gets stabbed in the first time he gets stabbed through the back from by James Franco's character, the face he makes is so funny that if you just freeze it on that for a second and then watch it a couple of times, you'd be like, oh dude, yeah, like they must have been having so much fun filming that stuff, just because like, and then he gets stabbed later on at the end of the movie in a similar fashion, but it just quite isn't as good as that one. So that's a little Easter egg for me. But I think everything about his just general like kind of like nonchalance about being the big evil bad guy in the movie, and just like everything about it is funny. Like he's serving fish sticks at dinner with like,
I've been very busy planning for this,
and like and then like the fact that they even just call the whole thing the fucking like, and he just kind of says it so casually in passing. He's like, it's just, I think he did. I don't know who else you would have put in that role that would have delivered it the way that Justin Theroux did.
I love that line in the beginning where he's just like, magic, motherfucker.
Yeah.
The delivery is perfect.
Yep. And that's how the whole movie starts out with that stuff, right? Like it starts out with the fairy tale intro, and then that intro, even the VO in that, it goes, and a whole bunch of other shit or something like that. And then and then it cuts to the animated storytelling intro of them running away from the midget little people, dwarven area.
Yes.
And that whole like, intro of the movie is told through that same kind of like tone. It's funny.
And a great way to make credits interesting. So
yes,
I wish we'd see more.
And watchable, right? Like you want to see the next thing they're going to put up there.
And I like how it established the bond between him and Courtney.
Yes.
That was a very cool
It's
thing
like
to do.
your squire is to be tarred and feathered, and they cut to him, and he's like telling the kids like
I'm allergic.
I'm allergic. And that's like that movie starts off too, by the way. Like just when they go to hang him and he just lands on the ground, like come
Yes.
on, man. Like that's you know exactly what boat you're in once that's the start.
And when he's saying like I didn't sleep with her, it was more heavy petting with
Yes.
a second of penetration. So yeah, if you don't know the intro, he sleeps with the dwarf king's wife,
That's
but denies it. And they
And
hang
the funny
him.
part was too, they deliver a little bit further on that, like a few moments later in the movie, when he's back home in the castle and he's talking to his father, and he's like, "Were you successful on your mission of gaining the dwarven king's allegiance or whatever?" And he's like,
Right. Speaking of his father, this movie also has a fantastic supporting cast, and for me, Charles Dance. This was like Tywin Lannister before he was Tywin Lannister. Maybe not so devious.
He's been a bad guy as far like he's been a great bad guy in so many movies, like the Golden
Golden
Child,
Child, yes.
Eddie Murphy way back then.
Cousin Noopsy.
Uh,
That's a great scene.
yeah, we might have to go revisit that in another episode.
Oh, for sure. I love that movie as well. Largely because of Charles Dance. I mean, he is a fantastic villain, as you said. A lot of people know him from Game of Thrones, but look at his body of work. This Last Action Hero, I thought he was fantastic.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, he's great at being evil. Although here he's not quite evil as much as a stern father who is
a kingly father.
Yeah, he's disapproving of one son and adores the other. So I don't know, did you get Tywin vibes in this? Because I believe this movie was released.
Right? This is all pre-Tywin Lannister, right?
I believe it was released the same month as the first season of Game of Thrones.
Oh wow. I didn't even know that. Yeah. I thought he did good. I thought his character was surprising in a similar way that Natalie Portman's appearance in the movie was surprising.
Yeah.
Where his was like good, but I still think like not any other, but there could have been somebody else to replace him to me. Like there could have been a different king and not Charles Dance, because that one just seemed too much of a stretch for him.
Right.
Where maybe not so much of a stretch for Natalie Portman, but just seemingly like it just didn't fit as well as I think like maybe somebody else could have. And I don't know who that somebody else is, so I should probably just not comment on it until I have a better, like, not just a no, but a no and a solution.
Now, as we mentioned, and because December is tomorrow, we have to talk about Zooey Deschanel, who a lot of people love from Elf. She's also fantastic in this movie in a smaller role, but they do take advantage of her wonderful singing voice and her innocent looks.
Heartbeat.
Yes.
That's the same sequence where they have James Franco sing though too, and he ruins it.
Yes.
Like epically ruins it.
It's a perfect contrast because she sings in a lot of movies and has a few albums, and he's garbage.
Yes, comparatively garbage.
But I thought she did a good job of being the innocent damsel in distress who was stolen from Lazar as a baby and kept captive in a tower to be a virgin sacrifice in the fucking.
Yes.
What did you make of her performance in the movie?
I thought she did great. I thought like everything about her all the way to the end too, because at the end there's like whole thing where she's possessed and supposed to be like super into things, and like again just so out of character for her. But you watch the performance and you just have fun with it, and that's you can see that that's what they were doing. Like, and she just did so well on that. And again, the singing part came out of left field and was great, and then immediately ruined by Franco, as it should have been in this movie. And then, but her just curious, like, just has never seen a fork, she's all like, those things that she's just trying to like figure out and play with. Like, it was just like so well done.
And at the end when she's like possessed by the spirits and
Yes, she's
she
trying to
tries
take the
to, yeah,
necklace.
she tries to suck the severed minotaur cock.
Yes, that he's wearing as a necklace, though.
Yeah,
That's the best part. That
he's
is
like,
that's a souvenir trophy.
and he's like, don't suck that, it's dead. Something like,
I wrote that down as potentially one of my other favorite just things from the movie
ooh.
is that was what he ended up, because he's trying to cut off the leg and she's like, it's not gonna go through that horn.
Yes.
No, not the horn, it was like the horn, and she's like, and he just looks over the body and goes, all right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're there, might as well. Oh my god, I totally messed up the rundown. I forgot to do some plugs.
Oh, do a plug.
Yeah, so guys, if you want to support the site and the channel, or if you're looking for a good stocking stuffer, or you want to buy something nice for yourself, check out my RPAD TV products on Amazon.com. Available on Amazon stores worldwide. You can get direct links if you go to this link, rpad.tv/merch. We got t-shirts, we got hoodies, we got phone cases. What are those things? Pop sockets. I need a pop socket, actually. My Pokeball pop socket is all dinged up and worn out. Maybe I'll buy one for myself. So yeah, it's they're cool products. You get to wear my logo, which would make me very happy. And you support the channel. So if you're looking for some stocking stuffers this holiday season, please go to rpad.tv/merch. Now back to our show, which is still here because I never left. Now,
Where are we? Okay, so we did.
Yeah,
we started supporting cast.
Yes. Courtney, Rasmus Hardiker, who was
Steals the entire
impossible.
movie.
Yeah, I agree. He was hard to find photos for, though. So sorry, Rasmus. Why don't we see more of this guy? I think he's fantastic as the sidekick.
I meant to go on and look up what else he's been in, and I never got around to it today. I don't know if you know off the top of your head, but
nothing that I've watched.
He literally everything from the entertain me, make faces, and he does triangle face was fantastic, and the fact that he knows about it and has a negative reaction to it every time, like that's the established that's great, and just the fact that like every single thing is I'll either kill or Courtney, I will kill Courtney right here in front of you, everybody, or like Courtney is just his bitch, but they have such a funny relationship, and
there's love there, which is nice. And yeah, he's such a great compliment to Danny McBride.
Yep.
That it works so well. And he is also a nice conduit between the two brothers, and he helps explain the relationship, not just for them, but for the audience as well, which is an excellent thing. I don't know.
Yeah, and then what was he's got a funny backstory, like he was traded, his parents were like, he was like a sex slave or something.
Yes, he was sold, his family sold him to a sex slave, where he learned sleight of hand, which
that was hilarious. Just everything about his character, and just because he is such kind of a goofy looking dude naturally, and he just like, I'm in that club too, right? Like he just very like he just does it so well. Like every line that he delivers, every facial expression that he makes, like every little, I don't know about that. Like, he's like, they're threatening to kill him. He's like, he just does it so well. And he's so believable in that kind of like, as a friend that is being threatened, but also knows he's probably safe.
And don't they give him some silly weapon in the final battle? It's like a garden.
Well, yeah, they're all like they're all going through their things, and he grabs a sword, and the other guy grabs like a some kind of a spiked club, and then they cut to him, Courtney. He's got like essentially like a very thin pitchfork. Right? Like,
is that what it was? Okay,
but it looks like it's not going to do much.
Yeah, I'm like, why does he have the garden weasel?
Yeah, exactly. That's what that era's equivalent of the garden weasel. So, yeah.
So
he goes into every fight, by the way. He participates in every fist fight, every battle, like, and he survives. And you're always hoping throughout the movie that he's not going to get off, like in some funny way, but he makes it the whole way.
And they joke about him like Courtney is probably going to get killed on this quest.
Yes.
But yeah, he's always right by Thaddeus's side faithfully, and always trying to help, even if he doesn't. But I believe he does, doesn't he? He does kill one or two people in the final battle.
He does. Yeah, no, he's a piece of the final battle. Like, and again, like you go into it going, he's such a red shirt, he's such a throwaway character
Right.
to some degree that you almost think they're setting him up for like a funny death. But no, he's good. Makes it the whole way.
Now let's talk about our favorite moments, favorite scenes, favorite things about this movie. You had some things prepared. I want to hear them.
Well, one I think we talked about was just the fact that he took the Minotaur's dick as like
Yes.
a trophy and a souvenir. The fish sticks, dude. Like the fact that like you almost wonder what happened if that was written as it was supposed to be, or something happened on set and they're like, fuck it, we just got a bunch of fish sticks, so let's just go with that. Right? Like it's so perfect. Another one was just when they realized Julie is dickless.
Yes.
They continue, and it's only for like maybe a good 3 or 5 minutes of the film. They just continue to call him Dickless Julie.
Yeah, and it's like and then Thaddeus says something like, "Julie's a dickless traitor."
Yeah, he's like, yeah, it's fantastic. But again, the Lazar's his facial expression when he gets stabbed in the first time you see him in that first battle. Let's see here. I didn't like the Martiti whole.
Yeah, that could have been better.
Thing. We'll come back to things we didn't like.
Yes.
Oh, and then so there was a scene where like Lazar is sitting with Zoe Deschanel's character, and there's like little fairies floating around.
Right.
And he grabs one, and you're like, okay, he's like playing with it like nicely, and all of a sudden he like starts plucking its wings off, and he swishes it and he snorts it. And like, I thought that was like out of left field, just hilarious. Didn't need to be there, but they just had fun with it and put it in.
I liked all the scenes where it was just Franco and McBride, and because they have such great chemistry together, but they also showed that as jealous as Thaddeus is of his brother, he does love him and he does admire him.
Yeah.
Courtney later explains more of that.
Yeah.
You can see that there's a real bond there, even though they have this big one-sided conflict anyway. I love the scene at the beginning where instead of going to the wedding, Thaddeus is smoking up with the trolls.
Yes, he goes out and hangs with the trolls out in the mud.
Yes, it's like, how do you get so dirty? Do you just rub your
others on your face? Yeah, no, that was hilarious.
And he's like, yeah.
I think any other just like really good standout moment. And again, I think just if you're paying attention, like when they introduce the whole thing as the fucking like at some point, like you just realize that like that's what they're actually calling it. And I thought that was so funny, just as a name for a big thing that's supposed to happen every X amount of years, hundreds of thousands of years. It's called the fucking name.
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, I love the whole concept of, I make the analogy of this being what Airplane was to dramatic movies.
Oh yeah, no,
Airport. Totally. And because this was released shortly after the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and the fan base for that got super serious, and there was a lot of pretense there. Even though I love those movies, make no mistake about it, but
yeah,
it did get a bit much. So I love that this,
But what's interesting too, though, is it, funny and call it low budge if you want, but everything in that movie, in Your Highness, is actually like they didn't really skimp out on like sets or cost. Like they actually like seem like everything you look at in the background that's happening, it's like a pretty like well done, legit movie.
Yes, absolutely. And even
where it could have been very budget,
yeah.
Also.
Like as much as I also didn't like the Martiti scene, but the CG for his hand monster was pretty good.
Yeah, that was funny. And then I didn't know who the swords guy who comes out to fight everybody, if that was anybody like notable or in particular, but it was just that's when you meet Natalie Portman's character. So that was the only kind of good part about really the Martiti scene.
Oh, the naked chicks.
Boy,
for me.
Again, it's all another unexpected bit, right? Because he runs off into the forest, and then you don't think that hundreds of girls are gonna be running out after him. So that was also pretty funny.
And he said it's a booby trap.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I mean, the movie is supposed to be silly and stupid and dumb, but there was
And
a lot of thought put into the writing to make it stupid and silly and dumb, and I don't know if a lot of people got that. So
no, I don't think they did. I think, again, if you go into that movie with any expectations other than just to have like a good laugh, I think you're going to be probably
yeah,
let down, right? If you just go into it with like, hey, like, you know what, this is going to give me a good laugh. It's going to be stupid, but you go back through that repertoire of Danny McBride's movies, and like that's kind of his
that's his
bit.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and whether that's his character and again Pineapple Express, or even in the bit parts where he's been like what was the war one where he's the demolitions guy,
Oh, Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, like even his bit in that, like it's just the same thing, and it's funny and it works. So
Yeah, I mean, that's why I don't understand the review scores. I'll flash them up again. I mean, if I expected
50,000 plus ratings.
yeah, like my expectations for the movie is like my expectations like going to watch a Cheech and Chong movie or something, you know?
Yeah,
It's supposed to be silly, stupid fun, and that's what it delivered. So I
yeah, and again, that goes back to like it's it entertained me for the duration of the movie,
right.
where that's the value to me, right? Like if you go see, like you don't, if you're dreading the movie and you just like any movie, if you're dreading it, you just want to like stop,
Yeah,
like
there's yeah.
that's not good. But for me, like put this on, I'm good. Like it works.
And as you said earlier, right in the intro, it's a great background movie because
Oh, totally.
there's always something that'll make you laugh if you're working or doing other
Yeah,
stuff. And then just glance over a few minutes. Chances are you will see something funny that will make you happier. And
yeah, for
that's a
sure.
great thing. I don't see what the issue is. Now, how would you describe this movie if they do that elevator pitch thing? If I say it's like
Oh,
Airplane meets Cheech and Chong meets Lord of the Rings. Let's play that game. I mean, yeah. How would you describe this movie to someone that's never seen it? I
it's
put the wrong Chiron up for you. I'm sorry.
oh, well, what did it say? I was looking up.
You were Paul for a second.
Oh,
A few
no, that'd
minutes.
be cool. Paul just showed up through the door though. That would have been like epic.
Totally meta.
So meta. God, man, I don't know. That's a tough one. Because it's almost like Mel Brooks
Mm.
made a spoof of what. It's almost like Mel Brooks made a spoof of like one of the Conan movies, right?
Oh, yeah. I dig that.
I feel like, and I don't remember which one was the one where he goes on the journey with all the different people that Conan, if it's the Barbarian or
The,
the Destroyer,
the
whatever they call it.
Destroyer is the one where he hangs out with Grace Jones and Wilt Chamberlain. Is that the
Yeah,
one you
and who's the
mean?
little guy who does like magic or something? There's a that movie. Like it feels like it's like a comedic Mel Brooks-ish style like approach to something like that.
Love
But
it.
obviously with the stoner version.
They do pick up a barbarian type guy.
They do, and he dies almost immediately, which I thought was
Yes.
funny. And I really like I didn't know if that was anybody of note, and I don't think it was,
Oh.
just other than like random roided out huge dude. But that would have been funny if it were like The Rock or like like Vin Diesel or just somebody like that again just didn't fit, but like was there like, hey, you want me to do a cameo? Like that would have been pretty solid.
And he has like when he speaks, because you see him the first two scenes he's in it, he doesn't
Scream.
really, yeah.
Yeah.
And then he has this dopey English accent. He's like, hang
Yeah.
on, friends, let me go first. And then
Yeah. And then he got spiked right through the crotch, which I thought was funny also.
what did you make of the sword of unicorn? That wasn't
I thought that was the one prop that looked pretty crap.
it. Was that intentional? Was it supposed to look
It must
stupid?
have been because, like, you go, how do you? Well, for one, they made the unicorn part of the sword the actual handle,
Right. Yeah, I
right?
was not
I thought that
expecting.
was strange. I thought you were
Yeah.
gonna have to stab like the actual unicorn bit through the dude, and that's how you get the magic.
Yeah.
But
That,
hey,
that would have made more sense, actually.
that follows the rules better. No, but yeah, the rules of unicorn magic swords. So
But leading up to that, I forgot about the Minotaur. But
yeah, the Minotaur scene.
great encounter with Courtney there.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. He did get essentially sexually accosted by a minotaur.
it's one of the one of the side
Maybe that's
effects.
why he doesn't do a lot that we're aware of. Like maybe that could have been career ending. I don't know. But
That is an occupational hazard of a squire.
did we look up what Rasmus Hardiker has done since?
I have, but I didn't see anything that I saw. But let's do that since we're
Okay.
here.
Uh,
I
Thumbs up.
mean, he's in a lot of British things that I've never heard of.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Sorry, I'm looking around. I don't see anything that's like immediately like, oh man, he was in that.
he does a lot of kids cartoons.
Apparently so.
So I mean, that's nothing that I've seen.
Yeah, it's a very animated Thomas and Friends, lots of UK.
Yeah, Bob the Builder. I don't know. Oh, he's done some games as well. He's in
Oh, that's good.
Xenoblade Chronicles.
Yeah. Anyway, well, either way, this explains again why we haven't seen him in a while.
Well, I thought you might have because you have kids, so maybe.
Yeah, mine are older now though, and we stuck to the basics, man. We stuck to
The Wiggles.
SpongeBob. We didn't do littles. We stuck to SpongeBob. Yo Gabba Gabba was Yo Gabba Gabba was a lifesaver for me because that's the one thing. At one point, when one of my younger daughter was like crazy, and she always cried. You turned on Gabba Gabba, she would just like zoom in on that show. So that was great.
Well, let's do that Netflix recommendations thing. If you liked Your Highness, you will also like.
Oh, I think if you like Your Highness, you're gonna like Pineapple Express.
Right. This is.
I think. God, what's another good one that's in that same realm? What do you think?
Definitely Pineapple Express. This is the end. I'll put up there.
Yeah. That's I haven't seen that in a lot. I haven't seen that since the first time I saw it, and it was good then. So I need to go back and rewatch that one too.
That's one of my highly rewatchable ones. That's a background movie for me.
Okay, mine are my top Deadpool, Spaceballs, and any Adam Sandler comedy basically of the early ages.
Oh man, Spaceballs is so good.
So that's before Deadpool came out. That was my favorite movie of all time.
And that Deadpool is highly informative and a fantastic choice.
Yeah, good stuff. I don't know what else. Let's pick another one. So I said
you got Pineapple.
Pineapple. What else?
I don't know. I like his character in Danny McBride's character in Land of the Lost, which is
oh my god, that's such another good. That movie's great too. I'm just trying to think of the part where they eat whatever.
And, the
hallucinogenic, and they spend the whole however many minutes just running around the desert tripping balls. I thought that was hilarious.
And then they suddenly bust out a number from a chorus line, which I thought
Chaka, by the way, like that Chaka in that movie is again a scene stealer and does one of the funniest pelvic thrust dances of in recent cinema is when they find Chaka in that cave.
That should be an award.
Music going in the background, and he's dancing, and they just cut, and he's in the background doing like arguably the most violent pelvic thrusting dance that I've seen, and it would easily throw up my back in a heartbeat.
So, funny story that I will tell you in a second. Carlos suggested Harold and Kumar. Does that fit?
Oh yeah,
absolutely does fit. Absolutely does fit.
Yeah,
maybe not the second one, but maybe
you know why? By the way, too, because the same way Natalie Portman doesn't fit into Your Highness, Neil Patrick Harris was such a surprise landing in Harold and Kumar.
So
like the first one, right? When you get because again, he was expected to show up in the follow-on movies, and if he did, you were like, yes. But like the first time he showed up, the first time you saw Harold and Kumar, you were like, what? And then, boom, like the funniest scene-stealing character in the movie.
And the third one where he's pretending to be a fake gay man who's lusting for women. I thought that was such a great twist.
Like again, you're adding to my laundry list of of
Things we
movies
need
that
to
I need to go
rewatch.
rewatch. What? By the way, what was I? It was Grandma's Boy,
Grandma's Boy.
which my mind right now is still so blown away that you haven't seen.
I need to watch that.
Like while I'm creating a list of movies that I got to go catch up on, man, this is like my homework assignment for you. Is if you haven't seen Grandma's Boy, you have to go watch that.
I will do that for sure. Oh, so Land of the Lost.
I lost it.
When Chaka brings Danny McBride back to his tribe, and they have all these naked women there. One of my friends in LA plays one of said naked women.
Oh, how funny.
And she is now pregnant. So, hey, Jesse, hope everything's well and you're having a safe and lovely pregnancy. Carlos is also a fan of Grandma's Boy.
Yes, Grandma's Boy. It's so good. Honestly, Rebecca,
I'm disappointed that I haven't watched it. I'm disappointed in myself.
And it's great, by the way, too. Like it's another like sneaker hit. Like you go and after you've seen it the first time, Raymond, I think it'll certainly end up in your list of things that you can have on in the background, because there's just a selection of such funny clips throughout that movie and scenarios. And Nick Swartzen is one of my favorite like comedians of all time, and he's over delivers in this movie as well. There's so much to love about that. So that's your homework for next time we're out. We have to make sure that we circle back and spend 5 minutes talking about that, if not the whole time.
I do want to do a Golden Child episode now that you brought that up. So
yeah, that'd be a good one as well.
Eddie gets so much credit for 48 Hours, Beverly Hills Cop, Coming to America.
There's a couple of niche ones in there that just kind of popped up and still carried Eddie Murphy forward,
Yes, but Golden Child is, people forget that was a movie. had Rat in the soundtrack. I remember that.
I'm trying to think like who else of note was even in that movie, because it felt like besides Charles Dance, right? But like it was seemingly oh no, who was the old?
Oh yeah, was it Victor Wong?
I think it was.
Yeah.
He sends him on the journey to get the blade thing or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, and also her father also is in it. He was in Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh man, that's another one of my favorite movies.
That might be my second favorite movie ever.
So one fun, I don't have it in here with me, but one of the people who used to work for me way back when knew that Big Trouble in Little China was one of my like favorite movies of all time. And so as a gift one day, she actually had me ordered and made one of those curved blades, exactly like the ones that the Three Storms use. Oh, so I actually have one of those, like a real one, and it's freaking super sharp and very murderous, but it's just, I keep it in, in the garage in a safe area, but it's like super cool and real. And she had it like made for me and shipped over here.
So Golden Child has both Victor Wong and James Hong. So you have Egg Shen and Lohan.
A recipe for success.
Yeah. I mean, and they're two legends in the Asian American community, so I should have thought of them right away. But man, what amazing careers those guys have had.
Yeah. And by the way, now you're making me think of the other movie, another one, Balls of Fury. My chemical makeup of like the movies that make me are so easy and so terrible.
I mean, Airplane was one of my biggest childhood influences.
Oh yeah, are you kidding?
It just really informed my sense of humor and what I came to love. So
I love just even you go back to the argument of what the red zone and the white zone and the loading zone, what those are for, to the dude just being like with the jet lights, like just, oh no, you go that way. The plane drives through the giant glass window. Like everything about Airplane and those
my drinking problem,
Zucker and Zucker movies, those are so good. But those were like the comedy, and then like the Mel Brooks movies too. Like those were the comedies that like shaped us as like our era of kids growing up.
You have the Leave It to Beaver lady. Excuse me, stewardess. I speak jive.
Yeah. And then the lady who freaks out and everybody's shaking her, and then the lineup of people like holding bats and a wrench and a lead pipe.
And then one lady had a gun at the end of the line.
Yeah, and I think it was like a nun, like that. Somebody had a gun. But that everything, and those are movies you couldn't even attempt to make today, right? But
my God,
still such classics and so funny.
Well, even the jive scene, I don't know if you could even do that.
I don't think you could.
Oh,
I don't know. It'd be
that's
a
a
tough
tough
one.
one. Yeah. You have to be brave and you'd have to execute it perfectly, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know who would have the guts to do that. Maybe Seth Rogen would try to do that.
And speaking of which, right? So this goes to another thing, right? Which they made an Airplane 2,
Yes.
right? And you have a point here. Do you think there should be a Your Highness 2? How does that work?
Right. So one of the gags in when they're doing that Pineapple Express 2 in This Is the End, they're like, we should make movie sequels to all our movies. And someone says, let's not do Your Highness 2. I'm like, no,
Oh,
there should be
you
Your
know that.
Highness 2. Like, I would love
Yeah.
Your Highness 2. And I don't think Natalie Portman would come back for it. But
No, I mean, maybe again. What do we know, though, right? She showed up for the first one, so maybe
true.
she owes somebody a favor at this point, or who knows? But yeah, I think certainly you would see James Franco again, and you would see.
Is he out of like cancel jail yet? I don't know.
Well, maybe they would have his brother show up as
Dave Franco.
Maybe his brother would show up and take over as like the other son that you didn't even know about from the
Right.
first movie.
Oh, he could be the evil son. That would
Oh,
be
see, again, there's plenty of room to make it work.
yes.
But again, I think you lose like Zoe Deschanel. You probably lose Natalie Portman.
Right.
I don't know if Charles Dance is coming back.
Yeah, but
I'll
they could do a thing with, like a Bond thing where they replace the girl lead.
Yes. It might get Rasmus Hardiker back.
I think he could take a break from the VO work. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he'd probably want to show up in that. I don't know, but in all seriousness, I do feel like Your Highness, this, the reason it's so special is because it is a once and done. Right. The same as Pineapple Express. Like, I don't think you're gonna see another Pineapple Express.
No. I mean, definitely not with Judd Apatow. I think he's grown
he's
beyond
moving on.
that. Yeah. So, and his sensibilities have changed too. I mean, that was one of his first movies, and you see how he's evolved.
And all these are all the same guys and cast that he's worked with on and off since super early, so like you said, I think everybody's kind of come of age and has probably moved on to different things, but
yeah,
it still would be a fun idea. I certainly wouldn't want to see a remake of it.
Oh my God, that would ruin everything.
Because it seems like now, it was funny, like one of my kids was asking, like, forget which movie it was about, but it was something recent. And she's like, oh, like, I just said, this is what happens when Hollywood runs out of ideas. They just remake old movies. Right. And then, and she's like, oh, all right, that makes sense.
Yeah. No, if they did do a Bond kind of thing and they replaced Natalie Portman, who would you cast in the role as the new heroine? Like, who's
but following in that category of has to not fit that she fits?
Yeah, you need a dramatic actor who can kick ass, but can still deliver the funny. And a good question for you guys watching as well.
Yeah, let's get some suggestions. Maybe
Florence Pugh. I love that one because she is a great actor and she can kick ass, and she's like, she's so hot right now. Like, who's the guy in Zoolander? Hansel, so hot right now.
Hansel. Oh God, let's see.
And she likes old guys apparently. So hey, what's up, Florence?
Right.
That's a great choice, Carlos. I don't think I can top that. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty perfect.
I feel like I don't watch enough other shows that would have like a good repertoire of like other like strong female leads that I could pull from to say like she'd be great for this. God, what am I watching now?
I mean, people are taking acting too seriously now. So it's hard to imagine, like, I don't know who would do this, who could be in this role.
First of all, who would even say yes? Like, there's that.
That's the hard.
That's funny. I can't think of anybody though. I'll have to come back with a follow-up on this.
But yeah, I mean, we had a great conversation about Your Highness. I hope if you haven't seen the movie that maybe we convinced you to see it. Maybe
Oh
the stuff we were talking about is so dumb that you don't want to see it. Do you
no,
want to see a severed
that's
Minotaur
the
cock
joy of
or
that
not?
movie. It's gonna get dumber and dumber than you think, and just lean into it and enjoy it. It's funny.
Oh, another great suggestion from Carlos. Haley Steinfeld in the Zoe Deschanel role. Yes, she can sing.
Who I don't know who Haley Steinfeld is.
Did you watch Hawkeye? Or
Yes.
she was the younger Hawkeye.
Oh, okay. Okay.
She was in Bumblebee. She does have
Yeah, okay.
albums, and
She'd
she
be
was
good.
in Pitch Perfect too. And she dated one of the Directions. I don't know which one, but it was one of those guys. I'll say it was couldn't have been Harry because that was Taylor's boy. I don't know, the one that was pointing up.
Okay, there you go. Taylor Swift. That would be the surprise cameo heroine that carries the same kind of
Wow.
weight as like a Natalie Portman showing up.
I
Like
mean,
and there's rumor by the way Taylor Swift showing up in a Deadpool movie also, but like
right.
that's where that kind of came from when you said that name. I was like, that's somebody that's like high caliber that you would never suspect to be in that movie, and it'd be hilarious if she was in it and pulled it off.
See, when we talked about Deadpool, in between then and now, she entered billionaire status. So I don't think she
Yeah,
needs to
maybe not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
She can
kinda
afford to
nuts.
shut RPAD TV 3000 down right now if she
She
wanted. This is a button she has.
she can shut me down in like real life too if she
That's
wants
what
to.
I'm saying. Like she
Yeah.
just hits a button and then you and I go bye bye.
I think she can. Yeah, she has that can
She has
legally
that weight.
disappear people status. Wow. I always loved you, Taylor, and your music. Good luck with Travis. I like that movie, that video with one of the X-Men in it. Oh my God. Which one? You Belong With Me. The kid that plays Havoc is the love
Oh
interest
yeah,
in
yeah,
that
okay.
video. So it was always weird when I saw him in First Class. But
Oh yeah, be kind of like you. That's the same guy.
yeah.
It's funny.
So I think that is a wrap for our chat on Your Highness. I had a great time. Please watch this movie, give it a chance. And if you love this movie, leave a comment and tell us what you loved about it, some of your favorite scenes, favorite performances, and expect an episode next week on Godzilla -1. And definitely expect a future episode of Mac. And hopefully we'll get one more person that we know that also loves Golden Child, because I really want to do that one.
Oh
So
yeah, let's do a Golden Child for sure.
that is definitely happening. And
oh, and you have homework with you have to
Grandma's
watch.
Boy. I will watch Grandma's Boy for sure. And I still feel embarrassed that I was unaware of
You
this.
should. You should be ashamed.
Don't forget to go to turtlebeach.com and check out all their excellent gaming accessories. Please
All the
like.
things.
If you have not subscribed, please do so. It really helps. And I will see you next week on RPAD TV. Take care, guys.